computer. All right, so welcome guys to another Limitless training, and it's our goal to elevate you, help you remove the limits in your own leadership and in your company. And the way we do that inside of our paid group is through monthly masterminds and guest trainings and removing the limits on your buying power through the deals we negotiate as a group. But something we offer to people that are not paying members that are just part of our Facebook community is a monthly training. And we try to bring special guests in that you get to kind of indirectly vet when you're in this industry, and you get to know people in the industry like Matt Danskin and Randy Brothers and Ryan Groth. You kind of get to know each other, and you find out who's really being helpful to the industry, who's really helping companies hit their goals and stuff. And so Matt is somebody that has been mentioned again and again in the marketplace. He's been referred to by colleagues and friends in the industry, and he just has a very effective program on how to generate a constant lead flow, even when there's no hailstorm or whatever. So we just want to welcome you guys in and thank you, Matt, for being willing to host a training.
Absolutely. And I guess one important note, Dylan, how long should this run?
So we've got it scheduled for an hour, but it can be over or under by a little bit. It's totally fine.
Okay, that's fine. I can talk for a couple of days if need be. We need to filibuster or something, but
let's do a filibuster.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I appreciate you having me on here. I appreciate everybody's attention and time. I know all of you guys are busy, and wasting your time is not an option. So I don't take that piece of this lightly. So as Dylan mentioned, my name is Matt Danskin. I own Restoration Referral System. It's been next month will be 3 years that I've been teaching other roofing contractors, very specifically focused on creating referral relationships with insurance agents. And prior to teaching that, it was just something that I was doing myself so that I could sell and build more roofs, make more money. And I've done, I would say, just about every lead generation type in the industry, from buying telemarketing leads, having website leads, Facebook leads, managed repair programs, home advisor, you name it. I've at least dabbled in it. I've not done a whole bunch of it. And door knocking. I don't know if I mentioned that. And I found that when I was referred by a referral partner that customer already trusted, I would close that business at a much higher rate. And I had a degree of control over the situation. So rather than just, basically every other lead source, I had no control over who their carrier was. I had no control over how this claim was going to go. If we're talking about insurance claim, roofing here. And I really just fell in love with those referrals. I'm not lazy by any stretch, but I want to make the most of my time. And if I'm going to be investing my time into developing business, into closing business, then I want to get the most out of it. And even if you are the owner of a company and you have a bunch of salespeople, you should be invested into those salespeople being efficient. That's going to mean a better, more profitable job for them. I've talked to some owners that are like, oh, it's fine, I'll just hire more people and I'm just paying them commission anyway. And that's, I promise you, not a mindset that's going to help you win. So that's kind of my background. As an individual, I was typically doing about $1 million a year. Once I discovered how effective I could be with referral relationships, I ended up doing almost $5 million in 2019, just by myself, and getting to do all the sales and production and everything. And frankly, working fewer hours than when I would typically do $1 million a year. And so for me, that was life changing. The money, the control of my time, and for the last 3 years, we've been able to replicate those attributes over and over and over again. And so I've got, I think we're somewhere between 250 and 300 contractors that we work with nationwide. Josh Pinter is one of them. He's been a longtime client of mine. I recognize the names of, I think, half the guys on this call. I think we maybe talked at one point or another that aren't clients of mine, I don't believe, but maybe they will be. So this is not, by the way, that's about the closest thing you'll get to a pitch on this call. The point of this obviously is not, let me go sell you guys on buying my stuff. Oh, there's one more client. So, Mr. Rossell.
So how you doing?
Yeah, and by the way, guys, I think at the end of this, we'll open up for Q&A. And any of you that are current clients or past clients of Matt and his program, please chime in at the end for the Q&A, just so other people can kind of hear about how effective it's been for you.
Cool. So
Hey, Matt,
yeah,
do you mind? I actually have a hard stop at the bottom. If I could, do you mind if I go ahead and chime in and give you a plug right now?
sure. And who is, I see, oh, that's Josh. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So we were one of the, if I'm right, tell me, Matt, I think we were one of the first guys to sign up with you, like probably the first 10.
Probably like first 30 or something, but yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So, and we signed up with Matt in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
It was the fall of 2020. And I'm going to be honest and tell you guys that we probably haven't used it as well as we should. However, we've had a lot of opportunities that have come from it. And in fact, when to go ahead and, give some of the answers to the quiz, what he's referring to as far as, leads when hail's not happening is a lot of times homeowners have leaks. They have stuff that needs to be fixed, right? So if there's repairs or something like that, they refer them. Or, a lot of these insurance people that we deal with are extremely professional. They have a lot of customers that have commercial properties. They have customers that or people they know in the market that have commercial properties, and they need you to go and either look at their house or their commercial property when they're having an issue. And if it's not a repair, it certainly could be a claim or even a retail quote. So for us, we haven't used it as much, which is why my partner and I are going to his event in December in Nashville. Because going into 2023, we feel like being able to get there first, a lot of times is going to help us win a lot more going into next year. So I appreciate you letting me take the time, Matt. I just wanted to say something because we've been extremely happy with it, and we're hoping to get more out of it. So that's all I had.
Awesome. Thanks. So there's a nice plant in the audience here. Josh is actually in the next room here. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I appreciate that. And I'm looking forward to working with you guys even more here through that boot camp. So point being, the training today, I do really want to talk about the nuts and bolts and strategy of what you're doing and how that plays out. And so essentially what we're looking at is part of why we're effective is that we're very methodical and systematic about what we do and how we approach these insurance agents and how we build value. And what I've come to realize working with so many different companies is that the things that we're doing are very transferable. And while I came up with my answers and we've been very effective with it, whether you guys buy my program or not, I definitely recommend using this methodology that I'm going to walk you through in order to design an effective process. for creating referral relationships. And it doesn't necessarily have to be with insurance agents. So for me, the insurance agents were the absolute best referral partner that I could possibly find, because they're constantly dealing with people that had the type of projects that I wanted. And they, if they're a captive carrier, I know what carrier their customers are going to have. And so instead of playing Russian roulette with what kind of claim am I going to deal with and how much back and forth is there going to be and what kind of margin am I going to make? And I think it's great to be good at the, negotiating those claims or whatever you want to call it. Even though you're not technically negotiating the claims, it's a lot better to just start off with a good carrier who's going to pay the claim well. And so that was my target. But really, I want you to, if you're taking notes, if you're writing things down here, our first step in all of this is going to be to identify your target referral partner. And a great way to do that is simply to think about those referral partners that maybe you've happened across if you've been in this for a while. I know a lot of guys that love working with realtors. It's not my bag, but in a lot of markets, it's a great thing to do. And depending on what the market, the real estate market is like, that may be home inspectors. Anybody just quick, if you're on video, raise a hand. You ever gotten a referral from a home inspector, or at least from their report, that said, hey, have a qualified roofing professional look at this roof, and it went over to you. Those can be great referral partners for you. Home inspectors aren't trying to be roofing experts. And if they are, they're usually probably screwing stuff up. So they're somebody that can consistently refer to you. It can be people that do gutter cleaning or pressure washing. Really, the attributes that you want to look for in figuring out what your target is here. And you can go through this exercise multiple times. So maybe you want to go through it once for your realtor program, go through it another time for your, home painter program. And in any of these types of referral partners are great to have in your Rolodex, but they're not necessarily going to have a giant impact from one referral partner. And so that's why I believe that you are well served to create a process and apply that process to several or many of that type of referral partner. So, and again, this is essentially the framework for how I constructed Restoration Referral System to begin with. So the things that you're looking for is really how much the clients trust that person and how often they deal with your ideal type of customer. So if you like working on high-end homes, a lot of times will outsource their landscaping, right? The smaller, cheaper homes, usually it's the homeowner's going to be pushing the mower. So you may want to work with a landscaper. If you like working in certain parts of town, target those people that are working in your same part of town. And again, that's the trust level there is important. If they don't have a high level of trust with the person that's referring you, you're less likely to close that referral. Makes sense? And that's another reason that I go after insurance agents. People trust their insurance agents, whether they should or not, kind of varies, but people trust them. They pay them money. They expect that they're going to take care of them, that they've got their back. And, whereas that's kind of the downside of, maybe a landscaper or the guy cleaning their gutters, they may not trust them all that much at the same degree. So somebody that's dealing with a lot of your customers, somebody that your customer trusts or your potential customer trusts, is where you want to start. The next thing is really we've got to get the door open with that referral partner to have a conversation with them and to be able to build value with them. And You can door knock, you can cold call, you can do all those types of things. I'm not teaching you anything there. Everybody already knew you could do that. You just don't like to. That's why you're not doing it right now, right? What I think is a better use of your time, more efficient for you and more effective, is to find some kind of mutual common ground. And that is, something that is just going to make it really natural for you to work together. So that could be something that it's a industry affiliation between you and them. It could be something that you're in the same networking group, a BNI group, or a chamber of commerce, or something of that nature. It can also be, hobbies, or, country club that you guys go to, or you golf together, you play basketball together, you go to the same gym, whatever those things are. Finding people through those types of avenues is going to mean that you have something in common, you have something natural to talk about, and it is the easiest way to start this conversation. Not totally necessary. Again, you can cold call anybody that you want to, but if we're talking efficiency, that's an important aspect here. So you've got common ground with these people. You know who you're going after. And if you guys, I know you guys are kind of trying to make this a little bit interactive in the chat here. If you're thinking of, as we're going through this, a vertical that you want to grow those referral relationships, whether that's insurance agents, realtors, landscapers, gutter guys, you fill in the blank. Share that in the comments there. That, maybe something I didn't list that gives somebody else an idea. And if they're in your market, I'm sorry, they're going to steal your idea here. Everything's about execution though, so I wouldn't worry about it too much. So drop those topics in there, that, maybe somebody that you've already been really effective with, or maybe just something you see as an opportunity you've never really been that intentional about going out to get. Now, the most important part of this, and I can't stress this enough, is figuring out what that referral partner wants from you. And list these things out. So this is the type of thing that you need to have a brainstorming session about. Do it with yourself, do it with your team, do it with your spouse who maybe isn't involved in your business at all and is going to offer you a fresh perspective. And most importantly, do this with that potential referral partner. Ask these questions. And it seems like a really obvious thing. Well, like, okay, well, what do they want? It may be that they are really, really concerned with you doing quality work and protecting their name if they stuck their neck out for you, right? That's an important box to check. And it's not going to be just one thing, by the way. It's going to be a list of things. And you need to develop an understanding for what those things are for them. It may mean that they can trust you. So if you're talking about an insurance agent and their customers really trust them, that is not something that they take lightly usually, and it is something that they don't want destroyed by some roofing contractor that doesn't have integrity, that's not doing things the right way. And and so you're going to have to figure out, okay, that's something I know is going to be really critical to these people. It may be money, right? Like if you're talking about that landscaper and, every time he sees somebody that has roof damage, has some shingles off, he gives your, connects you up with the homeowner and he lets you know what the address is and he gets you in and you pay him $250. And maybe that's more than he makes in a day and a half. That may be what the most important thing to that landscaper. I can tell you if it's an insurance agent, they might get fired for that. They may lose their license for that, depending on the state that you're in. Most of them are going to be pushed away more than attracted by throwing cash in on the deal. And just kind of giving out some examples here. For us, I'll apologize to my clients here, because I'm gonna give away one of the major secrets here. The most important thing that insurance agents want out of quality and convenience and integrity and all those types of things is that they want new business. Like you can go give them, you give them a check for $500. That's cool. They would have made more in commission this first year on that person, and they'd make commission on them next year and next year and next year. And so we have to be very good at doing those things. The point here, you cannot overestimate the importance of actually knowing what your targets are in providing for them what they want from you. And I apologize if I talk slow. I'm from Tennessee. So some of you guys are looking at me like, come on, man, spit it out. And I'm Polish, so I got both things working against me. The point here is that we want to really have a good understanding of the lay of the land, what's influencing these people. And so if you do, you're going to get halfway there just by doing your own research, by doing your own brainstorming from having experience here. But some of it's going to take conversations. So if that's an insurance agent or whatever type of referral partner, go meet with them, go talk with them, and ask them point blank, hey, I want to develop a relationship with you, and I really want to be the best referral partner that I can. What is it that I could do for you that would really be meaningful? What's going to help you out? And you may have one of them tell you, oh man, the most important thing is that you take good care of my customers. Okay, cool. But don't just take one guy's answer for it, because a lot of times they're not going to totally understand what's influencing them. They may tell you, well, the most important thing for me is that you give my customers a discount. Okay, what does that look like? Does that make sense for me? And by the way, if the things that they want for you are misaligned with what you're doing, then maybe don't do it. So, does everybody understand that? Give me a nod. Yeah, pretty simple stuff. Cool. So we've got to make sure that we are identifying the right targets and doing that thoroughly. Most guys that I talk to in regards to, like clients of mine, like Josh, when we go through and we kind of identify, here's all the things that are important to insurance agents. The very most important thing, most of them, it's not on their radar. And that's a good and a bad thing. That means that your competition probably isn't thinking about them either. And so if you can identify that thing that your referral partner really wants from you and nobody else is paying attention to it, you can beat them, and you can do it consistently. Some of this is just, if you show up and you go talk to a painter, a house painter, about referring his roofs over to you, and you talk about all the things that he cares about, you're probably the only roofer that's ever really talked to him, maybe one or two others. You don't have a lot of competition. But I'll tell you, if you're dealing with something like an insurance agent or even a realtor, a lot of times they have a lot of people coming at them, and you're not going to be very efficient and effective with your time if you are just like them and you haven't identified all the things that they care about. So after you identify them, that's cool. My wife knows that, or I know that my wife really likes back rubs, right? That doesn't do me any good if I don't actually give my wife a back rub and let her know I'm going to give her a back rub, right? And people are looking at me, that was a weird metaphor. I guess I should have used something different there. But the point is here, we can't just identify these things and know what they are. We have to actually do them. We have to look at the way that our business performs. So if it's really important to them that that you have a great response time and customer service is just top notch, and that's not the way that your company acts in the marketplace, then you're going to have to fix that thing. You can't just talk about it, right? You can't just identify it and glaze over it. If you really truly believe that's the thing that's going to make the difference for them, we've got to do it. And we've got to make our processes in our business such that we're checking those boxes. We're doing the things that they want from you. And that's, I know that took me like 30 seconds to say that one. That's the whole thing right here, right? Like, identify what the targets are, hit those targets, be the guy that they're looking for, that does all these awesome things for your customers. And by the way, it doesn't have to be things that give away the farm or anything like that. It doesn't have to be freebies that you're giving out. I did have, as I was meeting with insurance agents, I had a bunch of State Farm agents tell me they wouldn't give me referrals unless I gave out free class 4 to all their customers. Well, that's not aligned with my business. And so I said, okay, I'll go get a different insurance agent then. If that's something you're okay with, then do it, whatever. No shame on people that are, but but if they're saying, hey, I want you to have great customer service, maybe I need to step up the bar and I need to do that. If they want me to have great response times, that's something, maybe I can step up the bar to accomplish that for them.
Matt, can you give some example? Like, let's say you go to some association event or whatever, and there's insurance agents there that you don't know, and you want to, what's a example of a process of striking up that conversation then and asking those questions to find out what they need?
I would say if you're at like an association event or, some kind of, mixer or something like that, and you meet them, really all that you're trying to do is get them interested enough that they'll have a meeting with you. Like, let me stop by your office. Let's talk. And we can really get into the details. And so, with insurance agents, as I mentioned, we've already done the homework in terms of what's important to them. The most important thing to them is new business. And so I'll have a conversation with them and let them know that I'm very intentional about the way that I talk to my customers and the questions that I ask them. And I find opportunities almost every day of the week to refer my customers to insurance agents that I work with. And so I'd like to find out if you're the type of agent that I want to refer to. Do you have some time I can sit down with you, learn a little bit more about what you do? And that's what's going to get them interested in talking to you, and kind of hearing the whole deal. And again, that's for insurance agents. If it's a landscaper, I'll tell you, cheat code on this one. And I don't have a program for this, but if you want to work with a landscaper, they want money. So let them know, I'd love to talk with you about how, some of the landscapers that we work with make an extra $1,000 a week, just by mentioning our name. For a guy that makes $1,000 a week, an extra $1,000 a week is very attractive, definitely worth a conversation. So I would say, kind of lure them in with those things that you discovered that are important to them, and then set up a thorough meeting.
So you're going to it from the standpoint that you want to find out if they're a good source for you to send referral business to. So you're not going to them saying, hey, can you send me referrals? I promise I'll do a good job.
Yeah. I mean, really all this needs to be focused around delivering for them the things that they want, and what they want is referrals, right? And in that context. And so I don't need to, there's no point in me really selling them on me until I find out, who they are, if I'm going to be willing to refer people to them. And that's also the thing that they're going to be interested. If I just say, hey, let me go tell you all about my roofing company and how awesome we are. Do you got some time on your schedule for that? Nope, I'm busy that week. Right? Like nobody wants to hear you talk about yourself. They want to find out, the old acronym WIFM. What's in it for me? So, great question. Did that answer what you were asking there?
Yeah, no, I think that's great because for some people, they may think, okay, well, I'm going to try to do that. And, but they're going to stumble along and what to say, how to say it. And like you said, what's in it for me? And people are designed to pay attention when you're talking about their own pain points.
Yeah.
When you don't talk about other people's pain points, they start to daydream. They start to tune out. Their eyes wander. They check their watch. So I like that. I think that's great. And it's interesting that you're saying strike up a conversation and then try to get an in-person meeting to really go deep and find out if you want to have them as a referral partner.
Yeah. And really, if you can be effective at building and scaling these types of relationships, you can start to be a lot more exclusive. And they need to not just have a pulse and be an insurance agent. They need to have the right mindset and check your boxes as well. So we're identifying those targets. We're actually hitting those targets in the way that we do business, so far as we can see. And all that is not good enough if you don't also sell that agent on hitting those targets for them. And so you need to not just go in there and wing it with whoever you're going to talk to. You need to really plan out. Here's my talking points. Here's the things that I need to address. I need to make sure, even if they don't ask me about the quality that I provide, I need to explain that. Even if they don't ask me about all these things, and they don't expect that they will, I need to have the points that I'm going to hit. And maybe the order changes a little bit, but I need to know what I'm going to talk about. And just as important as hitting each of those points is in how we do it. And so if you are, to give you a couple of examples, if we are talking about great customer service, and I let them know, hey, I've got great customer service. What does that mean? That's not going to compel them any different than the last guy that came in and said he has great customer service. But when you can talk through, and I love, for customer service, tell stories. To give an example about our customer service, here's what happened with Mrs. Susie Joe when XYZ occurred, and we did this, and set the tone for them of how things are going to go, how you're going to go above and beyond. Let them know what your expectations are, or what your customers' expectations are. So if you tell them, hey, somebody calls me, I return every one of my calls within 2 hours. Or you tell them, I return every one of my calls within 24 hours. Well, both of those guys get a phone call, they return it 4 hours later. Well, the guy that set the bar at 24 hours just knocked it out of the park. The guy that said he'd return it in 2 hours failed. Right? Miserably. And they both did the exact same thing. And so those expectations are critical here, and where you're setting that bar in a place that you can actually meet it, that you can beat it. Quality is something that most referral partners are going to be concerned with. What kind of quality are you going to deliver to my customers that I've referred you to? And if you say, hey, we do quality work. I've been looking for a roofing website for about a year, and every time I get a lead, I'll go look at their website, or a lot of times I'll see people online. I'll look at their website. I haven't found one that doesn't have the word quality on it. Not one in a year out of probably 1,000 websites. And that's fine. Like I'm sure you guys, everybody on this call probably has quality somewhere on there. And I would too. Quality doesn't really mean much, especially to people that don't understand roofing. Like if I went and looked at a roof that you installed, I could probably tell whether or not it was a quality install. So I know what I'm doing. And probably everybody on this call could do that. If I'm talking to Susie Homemaker, I say, hey, what do you think of the neighbor's roof that they just put on? Oh man, looks great, because the shingles are all shiny and nice, right? Unless somebody really, really screws up, most people aren't going to know that it wasn't a quality work. And so that can be a good and bad thing. That means that you get to define what quality is in roofing. You get to explain, not only the materials that you're using, which I think is usually a small part of this, but you get to explain your processes. And that can be things like the way that you plan out your projects, the way that you have a morning meeting to go over how everything's going to happen on site. You can talk about the way that you protect their property. You can talk about the way that you clean up after everything's done. But more important, you can talk about the fact that maybe you strip the roof down to the decking to make sure that you have a solid nailable surface. And if you're going to talk about benefits like that, you talk about the inverse too. What does that pain point mean at a really basic level for that homeowner? We strip the roof down to the decking to make sure we have a solid nailable surface so that the roof that we put on doesn't fly off in the next windstorm. So that we're not burying a problem that's going to be the customer's problem later on. We don't want to void this customer's warranty. And so, things like that you can talk about are going to let the customer know that you understand your craft, that you know these details, and they may not totally understand what all that stuff means, but they're gonna know that you've got it handled. And that's also going to plant a seed of doubt in their head. Well, we strip the roof down to the decking. They're going to go, oh, that means some other people probably don't. That other guy that came by here and talked to me about my roof never mentioned that. I don't know if I can trust him, right? Without you having to say a bad word about anyone. Don't encourage anybody to do that. But those are some of the ways that you can really bring to life those attributes, the way that you're checking those boxes for them, and make it real in their mind. Is everybody tracking? Does this all make sense so far? Yeah, cool.
Yeah, this is great. And Matt, whatever the main points are, I definitely want to leave time for some Q&A as well.
Sure, can do. So the point of all this is you do want to make sure that you're identifying what these referral partners care about from you. You are addressing all those things in the way that you do business, that you are addressing all those things in essentially selling them on your ability to do the things that matter to them. But you also want to, in that conversation, ask them about the things that matter to you. And so I know a lot of this so far we've been kind of focused on kind of presenting yourself to this referral partner and finding out what they want. Do that same type of exercise and think about what you want from them. So if it's an insurance agent, you may want them to help you get claims approved should you run into a problem. You may want them to be someone that has close relationships with their customers. Their customers call them instead of calling the carrier. You may want somebody that has a certain attitude about the way that insurance claims should be taken care of for the customers. I know I've met with insurance agents that believe in taking care of the customers, and I've met with insurance agents who don't believe in taking care of their customers, who believe in taking care of their carrier first. Well, that's a deal breaker for me. And so whatever that referral partner is, you've got your list of things, boxes that you need to check for them. Make sure that you put together a list of things that they need to check your boxes too. And so you can have a conversation with them and talk with them about the things that matter to you. Maybe you want that person to have a lot of experience. So you ask them about their past. They go, oh yeah, I just started 3 weeks ago. Okay, cool. Have a nice meeting and conversation with you, but maybe you're not the guy that I want to work with. or gal. I think that's one thing that a lot of people skip and a lot of people miss because they're desperate to get that referral partner, whatever type it is. And so they'll just take whatever they can get, so long as they can get them to work with you. This is going to be a relationship. So not to be the roofing relationship counselor here. But if you go after, I think we've just got guys on this call. It looks like if you go after your lady because she's really pretty and she does all the things that you like, but then you find out that she's a horrible person, you're not going to be very happy in that relationship. You're going to want out of that relationship, right? And so just be very careful about if we're going to do this, make sure that you're doing what they want, but the inverse is true as well. I think by taking the time and like we mentioned, Dylan, if you're going to have a conversation with them real quickly right up front, you want to get them interested, but you need to take time with them and really get down into the details with them. And it's, the kind of metaphor of being a mile wide and an inch deep, you don't have much of an impact. So if you go meet with 100 of these people for 2 minutes, you're probably not going to get a single referral from it. If you just walk by, here's your card, here's your card, here's your card, here's my information. This is the reason in our process, we don't really do like email campaigns. I've literally tried sending insurance agents. We've got the best copy, I think, in the business for an email campaign. Send out 2,000 emails to insurance agents and got, I think, like 2 actual responses, and neither of them were good. But I can go meet with 2 insurance agents and I'll probably get one of them because I'm going to go deep with them and I'm going to be intentional about actually making sure that we have a fit here, making sure that they're suited for our customers, we're suited for their customers, and that we have a meaningful conversation that is going to leave them eager. It's going to be so much more impactful than everybody else that just came by with a box of donuts and a stack of business cards and spent 2 minutes with them and said, hey, we're A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, triple double platinum preferred with my shingle manufacturer. Love it if you send me a customer. If everybody goes that deep and you're the guy that spends 30 minutes with them and you find out about their background and what they care about and who their customers are, and you've checked all their boxes, it's a slam dunk. It's kind of a foregone conclusion you're going to win that deal. So I know we're short of the time. Dylan, you told me you want to leave some time for questions. So hopefully now's a good time to do that.
Yeah. And so I'm going to give guys a chance. Type your questions now in the chat. And then you can ask it as well. But Matt, do you have a case study of a company that's used this system effectively and kind of what it's done for their business?
I've got a bunch of them. I've got probably one of my favorites was one of my very first clients was doing between 1 and 3 million a year for like 11 years prior to working together with me. And he would just kind of go up and down, depending on how the storms were, depending on who we got to hire and stay for a year or two. And, so very consistent. And he had, had a decent little business there. After going through our training, and he's in Denver, Colorado, by the way. So if anybody needs context on the market in Denver, Colorado, they've essentially whiffed on hail for the last 3 years. They've had a little bit, but nothing like what Denver typically gets. So 1 to 3 million a year, over and over and over again. Ended with a $1 million a year, kind of one of their worst years. Then took my training right at the end of 2019. 2020 they did 10 million. 2021 they did 12 million. He told me they're tracking for about 16 million this year. And that company is the owner, an office girl, and a runner. And so he's scaled up his revenue to that level without having to hire any more people, without getting a bigger office, without buying a bunch of trucks. He's just doing a lot more business. And he, to his credit, just took what I told him and went out and did it. And so without trying to reinvent the wheel, without trying to, do anything different, or learning all the information and then leaving it sitting on a shelf somewhere. He just went out and did it. And so he ended up, he took me seriously when I said, like, be very discerning in who you want to work with. And he was like, well, I've had a few Chubb claims over the years, and I love those. I'm going to go meet with Chubb agents. So I went and met with a few Chubb agents. And I think about his fifth Chubb agent, they said, hey, why don't you come to our regional meeting and talk to everybody there? And he said, okay. So I went to a meeting with about 60 Chubb agents. And at this point, if it's not Chubb, pure, or nationwide private client, he tells the customer he can't help them. He refers them to another roofing company. I mean, they can come in with farmers. Hey, we've got a check in hand. He's like, oh, I'm sorry, we don't work with farmers. Have a good day. And which seems insane, right? Like to most people roofing, like, but he's just found that if he can find carriers that pay claims quickly and fairly, and sometimes more than fairly, if you're talking about Chubb, with customers that close just about every time, that because he's referred to them, there's no sense in wasting time working with anybody else.
That's good stuff. Is he doing mostly residential, or is he doing residential and commercial?
Mostly residential. He does a little bit of multifamily. That's
powerful.
Pretty small portion.
Well, guys, while we've got Matt here live, feel free to chime in. You can either type your question in the chat or just unmute yourself and ask now. We'll open it up for Q&A and see how this applies to your specific business in your market with your specific team.
Hey, Matt, I got to go. Dylan, I got to go. But I will tell you, Matt's on it. And if the guys will just stay with what he tells them to do, that's the key. You get guys super excited about the program. It works for them. And for some reason, they taper off on it. But, man, your program is second to none. I appreciate what you do. Thank you. By the way, Dylan, sorry, man, I've got to go. Sorry.
Hey, thank you, Doss. See you. Have a good day, man.
All right, man.
Yeah, just so you know, you guys, Doss, and he has a company called Clean Cut. He's also a member of the Limitless Buying Group, and they have so many leads that most of their guys do not knock doors. They have a constant flow of leads through all the efforts, and a big part of that is they have an effective referral, Matt's program, that the sales guys that are using it are as busy as they could possibly want to be.
Yeah. I didn't want to respond back. He's like, I don't know why they kind of taper off. I'm like, well, feedback I got was like they can't handle anymore right now. So it's a good thing.
Any other questions?
I think Mike was asking about the recording. So yes, he did record this. I think you said this was going to be in the training.
Yeah. So at the end of this, guys, we'll post this inside of our public Facebook group, and it'll be in the guide section of the group. You'll get the video for that, and I'll email it out as well. But if anybody has a question, make sure you unmute yourself and ask now. We've got about 10 minutes left. And C. Rocher, you're welcome. Glad to have you on, man.
And I will, if we're waiting on a question or anything here. Did you want me to, or Mike, did you have something?
Yes. Hi, guys. Thank you, Dylan and Matt, for sharing this and setting this up. I'm new to the business, and I also missed the call, first 20 minutes. I wanted to know, what is the cost of this program, if there is such 1, 2, 3 different packages, pricing, or is this one-on-one? You want to talk further? I'm interested. I just missed the whole thing,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
no problem. So, and I didn't really go over that, so you didn't miss that portion of it. The way that I work is I typically work on a company basis, meaning like if I'm going to work with you, I'm going to work with everybody in the company. I'm not going to, limit you on, okay, this person has a license and this person doesn't. I want everyone to be on board and understand what's going on. I charge $4,800 per year per company for that. Our other offering is that we do a couple times a year, we will do in-person trainings. This next one that we have coming up is in December 7th, 8th, and 9th, is a 3-day long boot camp. And it's just 3 days of drinking from the fire hose, getting really, really deep on creating these referral relationships. And so, if you have, whether that's you as the owner or a business development person or a project manager who's going to be implementing this, guys have just destroyed it consistently that are able to get that deep. And sometimes it's all the same type of information that we have in our online university and our live coaching. So by the way, the regular program, you have unlimited live coaching with me, along with an online university. In those live trainings, it's going to be here in Nashville, Tennessee. It's going to be a group of about 40 to 50 people, and we're just going to get into all the details. We'll actually practice it. We'll role play. We'll actually make some live calls to insurance agents. You'll go back home with basically your calendar filled with meetings with insurance agents to go crush when you get back. And that boot camp is $1,500 per person. Dylan and I worked out a deal basically for this Limitless group to offer anybody that signs up for our program. We're going to throw in one of those $1,500 tickets for free. So that includes your breakfast and lunch and all the training. It doesn't include your hotel or whatever you want to do for dinner or activities or anything like that. But that's going to be included at no extra cost. And I think Adam Levins, I think is, I recognize that name. I think we've talked pretty recently here. So from the deal I offered him, I don't think he was in the group yet.
Yeah. So for those of you listening, that boot camp, so to join the Limitless Buying Group, which we have incredible discounts on everything from health insurance to roofing supplies to discount tires, and we do monthly masterminds and monthly trainings like this, it's $1,500 a year. So just by joining just this one thing right here will give you your ROI in addition to all the other savings with rebates and stuff. But you get this in-person training with Matt, this intensive training for free just by being a member of Limitless. So you've got the link to Matt's website up there, and you've also got the link to the Limitless Buying Group up there. And we have several Limitless members here on this Zoom. So for a lot of these people, you can ask questions in the Facebook group. Hey, what's it like being a member of Limitless? What are the perks? What are the benefits to being a member? But your ROI is there immediately right out of the gate.
Right on.
That's really cool. Let me ask you this, Dylan. I am interested in joining, I guess. And then the question you raise is what I have in my mind. What is the benefit? The benefits you mentioned are awesome. I specifically interested in what does it look like ordering materials, right? Shingles and other things. Is that something that is part of this purchasing club? And if it is this nationwide? Is there like shipping? And can you say a little bit more about, how would it work? What can we expect as a benefits, I guess, of this club?
Good questions. I'll tell you, to really answer those well and dig deep on what it would look like for you and your business, I think the best thing would just be to go to the website, roofinggpo.com, and schedule a short strategy call. that way we can take our time and you can hear about not only the partnership with Matt Danskin, but all the other ones as well. It's a remarkable situation for members. So thank you for asking. And also, let's see if you can type your email in the chat. We'll just we'll have Chad, our account executive, shoot you an email to follow up. Avocado Roofing Biz. That's a cool name. Well, guys, any other questions about Matt Danskin and his program before we end this? We've got about 2 or 3 minutes left here. Good questions so far. Going once.
Another one, guys, since I have you here. Is this, Matt, your program is mostly, I guess it can be used in commercial world as well, right? I'm trying to make sense. And Dylan, I guess I'll ask you questions about all of this membership later on. Cool, thank you.
Thanks.
All right. Well, Matt, man, thanks a lot for being willing. I know this is a highlight. These are highlights from your training, the online course and all that. This is just the kind of the 30,000 foot view. So for those of you that would like to go deeper on this, really, I don't think you can afford not to. And Matt didn't ask me to promote his program. He said from the outset, he's not going to pitch it. But you really can't afford not to. If you don't have a solid, I looked at our poll. I said, how many of you have a referral system in place? And I don't mean for homeowners to get a 5-star Google review and get them to tell their friends. That's great. But I mean a steady lead flow from realtors, insurance agents, et cetera. If you don't have a solid system in place, you really can't afford not to engage Matt, or if you can find somebody else that offers this kind of thing, great. But Matt is a trusted source in the industry. He's worked with hundreds of contractors. I know my business partner, Miller Whedon, the owner of Raintight General Contracting, gets a steady flow of roofing business from realtors and insurance agents. Some of my best leads have been from realtors and insurance agents, and it just works. And it's wonderful because you don't have to spend whatever the cost per click is on Google. It's just a very powerful method. So there's just no need to leave the money on the table. So I want to encourage everybody. We also have Matt listed on our website, roofinggpo.com, and you can click that icon and go straight to his site. But again, you get that boot camp thrown in for free as a Limitless member. So make sure you sign up before you engage him. But Matt, thank you so much, man. We really appreciate your training.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for your time.
All right, guys, we'll make the recording live on Facebook, and we will catch you next time.